Have you ever thought that when you're buying a house, that it would be such a confusing process? All the terms, all the lingo, probably you feel like you're speaking in a foreign language to your realtor just because they're using all this complicated terminology that you've never heard of before. Well, in today's video, we're going to go through probably the most important, or at least my most important, top 12 terms that you need to know when buying a home. Stay tuned to the end because I've actually got a couple of bonus terms as well. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us on another one of our weekly videos here. I am Katie Evans, owner and lead agent of the Living 48 real estate team. So today we are talking about my top 12 most important terms to understand and know when buying a house. And again, stay tuned to the end. I've got a couple of bonus terms for you. So I'm going to break down the process and the terms into three different sort of sections or categories, if you will. Okay, so first let's talk about some of the terms that we use a lot when preparing to buy a house. So the first one that I want to talk to you about is a pre-approval letter or a pre-qualification letter. This is something that we have to get from the lender in order to actually put in offers on properties. This is where they pull your credit, they run you perhaps through desktop underwriting, those kind of things to make sure that you are qualified to purchase a home. And it is super important that you have one of these. We can't even submit offers without one, really. All right, the second term is underwriting. What is underwriting? So once you have started that whole loan process, they take all the documentation that they gather from you and they send it over to the underwriter, and they are doing underwriting on the loan. This means that what they're doing is they're checking your credit, your lending history, evaluating the property to determine what it's worth. All those kind of things. They're gathering all of the financial information to make sure that they are making a good lending decision for you. Are you trustworthy? Will you pay it back? Do you have the funds? All those kinds of things as a part of underwriting. All right, the next term I want to talk about is affordability. Now, affordability is really just a measure of your ability as the buyer to pay off a certain home. Like, can you afford to do it? This really deals with like the home prices and what you qualify for a home mortgage. So we talk a lot about home affordability and how it's becoming not something that is sustainable and that our affordability is too high at this point and all those kind of things. That's what they're talking about. It's about the buyer's ability to actually pay off a certain home based on their income and those kind of things. All right, appraisal. Appraisal is a really good one. So this is when your lender sends in a third party to determine the value of the property that you are considering purchasing. This again makes sure that the asset that is what the loan is based on will actually be worth the loan amount so that they have an asset that can cover the expenses there. Okay, let's move into our next category, which is offers and negotiations. Once we are ready to buy a house, once we find that house, we're going to be submitting offers. We're going to be doing those kind of things. So a lot of times there are negotiations that happen during that process. And the way that we do those negotiations usually is that we submit an offer, and then the seller, if they don't want the terms of our offer, will then send back what is called a counter offer. They're taking your offer and they're countering it with the terms that they want. Now, those counter offers can go back and forth and back and forth for quite some time until we can come to a meeting of the minds, or we don't. But this negotiation process is very, very common and very expected in purchasing real estate, especially in a normal market. All right, earnest money. Ooh, what is earnest money? This gets confusing for people sometimes. Earnest money is actually a portion of your down payment that we are going to take and place over at the title and escrow company, our disinterested third party, to hold in their escrow account. Now, this earnest money is supposed to be an indicator to the seller of how earnest you are about purchasing their home. This could be $1,000, depending on what the purchase price of the house is, up to like a percentage point of the total purchase price. So, but again, this is money that you put over at the title and escrow company. They hold it. And then once you successfully come to closing, they apply that towards a total down payment amount. Here's the caveat. If you, as the buyer, do anything to breach your contract, that earnest money may be given over to the sellers to make them whole because you breached the contract. All right. A good agent will always keep that money safe. Always. All right. Let's talk about our inspection contingency. So once we go under contract in the state of Arizona, our contracts default to a 10-day due diligence inspection period. Da, 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 da. The inspection contingency is basically that you have a period of time to go in and do all of the inspections that you would like to do, all of the due diligence, all of the research, all of those kinds of things during that period of time. At the end of that period of time, you have the right to cancel that contract based on finding anything that you are uncomfortable with, and your earnest money bill will be returned to you at that time. This really, really, really allows you to get in there, see the things about the house that you didn't get to see for your first walkthrough, and get to know the home a little bit better. Very, very important. All right, down payment. We talked about our earnest money. Down payment is the portion of the purchase of the home that you pay for upfront that is not financed. Okay. Now, a lot of this is determined upon your loan program, and you and your lender can discuss the pros and cons of what your down payment amount will be. Typically, it's anywhere between 3.5% all the way up to 20%. All right. You have those discussions with your lender. Collateral. All right. Collateral, if you guys have ever purchased a home, you know, or I'm sorry, a car, you know that the car is collateral for the loan that you took out on the car. Kind of the same thing. When you're buying a home, your home is actually the collateral for the loan. Okay. It's real simple. Mortgage rates. This all has to do with your lending. This is the interest rate that you're going to pay on the loan for purchasing your house. All right, let's move into our final category, and that is closing. Closing costs. There are some costs on the bottom side to closing on your house. Now, in the state of Arizona, those could be things like prepaids for your home insurance. It could be transfer fees and prepaids for the HOA. It could be your lending fees and mortgage fees, title and escrow fees, recording fees. There's all kinds of fees. So these can be anything from legal fees to title insurance to taxes to any of those kind of things. So be prepared that you're going to need to have more money available to purchase that home in addition to just your down payment amount. A lot of times in a normal buyer's market, we can negotiate for the seller to contribute towards some of those closing costs as well. So let's have a conversation about that. Closing disclosure, otherwise known as a CD in the lending world, okay? Closing disclosure. This is an official itemized list of all the final money that is going to need to be transferred between the buyer and the seller. Itemized, written out, everybody signs off on it. Title. What is title? What is title and escrow? The title is actual documentation. It's an official legal document, actually, that shows and proves ownership of a property. So what does title and escrow do for you? They make sure that you're going to get clean title. They're going to make sure that there are no liens attached to that title. They're going to make sure that you are purchasing the right house and not the neighbor's house. So that legal document is what is recorded with the county, and you have to transfer ownership from the current owner to the buyer so that there's a new buyer on it, or the new owner on it. Equity. I like equity. Equity is the amount of value that you have in your home, not the debt, but the value. Okay. So once you've bought a home, its value it's going to go up and down over time, but we have seen consistently historically that minus the up, the little bumpies in the road, it consistently grows. And so basically, once you get to a certain point, equity is the money that you could potentially pocket when you sell your home. Okay, that's awesome. All right, so let's wrap this video up. I already gave you my 2 bonuses in there. I didn't even stop to tell you about them. But there we are. Title and equity, those are your 2 bonuses. If you're looking to buy a home or hope to do so in the future, don't be worried. Don't get confused. There are a lot of jargon. That was just a few of all of the different lingo and the foreign language that we speak over here in real estate land. So if you have any questions, please, there are no dumb questions. There are only people who don't ask the questions. So please ask the questions. Let us know how we can help. We're here to be your resource. Feel free to reach out to me directly at 480-415-1341, or you can visit our website at www.living48realestate.com. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on our next video.